Okay, so I'm going to start with creating the mesh from. Actually, let me just. Why not use your? Why not use Nolan? Um, so grab Nolan, stick him in the scene, window, FPS mesh tool, stick Nolan in here. Um, Separate arms. Don't include all. Uh, we don't want the arms or the head, just the body. This looks wrong, so I think we need to change this to upper arm right. Uh, and then create preview. And now build the mesh. And then it should show up in the project hierarchy. So we should see the where's the FPS mesh stuff? There it is. Nolan, I'll name this armless, armless headless. And then I can just go and change this directly and say no body, only left and right arms. And that's how you create the arms. Um, and that all looks good. So uh, build FPS mesh again. Arms. And then we're done with that with this. So I can delete this and this. And now I want to build my character from the character controller. So I want to use armless, headless, Nolan. I have no third-person objects because the guy who made the FPS mesh tool says not to do that. Instead, we did it this way. I only care about first person for my scenario. I don't know about other people, so I don't need to worry about any of that. Um, and this all I think looks good. I also only care about melee, so that's why I was complaining about the swings uh, and the resulting positions after that. So build character, uh, create item types. I have one that I created using your thing called My Sword. Um, anyway, it's just using your tutorial. I created this My Sword. I think it was pretty simple. And the item is a sword. The item type is My Sword. If I A while ago I made another thread. Selecting sword here for some reason broke everything. So instead, I'm My Sword instead. That was probably my fault that I was using. I don't know. Anyway, character Nolan Armless Headless, Animator 22. Add first person item. I'll add the demo sword. Uh, where's the models sword? So I'm adding the sword as first person visible item. I need to add the FPS mesh arms to the scene to make those the first person base. Oh yeah, add them to the scene and then add these as the first person base. The controller, as I read elsewhere and as I was talking to you about in one of the threads, I need to use not the Nolan animator controller because FPS Mesh Tool doesn't work with your thing, but the other demo controller, the not this one, but this one. This is the only way I can get any animations to work at all. So there's that item parent. I go and I set the item parent to the right hand and add item slot. And then no animator controller, no third person items because I don't care about that for me. Melee weapon, I'm not touching the profile. Build item. So for me, because I think of the way that my character is positioned here, I have to set these transforms to 0 just so I can see it in the scene view before runtime. Otherwise, it shows up during runtime. But this just shows you that it's all here now. And I'm sure it'll be off-center and stuff. But if I press play, we should see that the animations look really funky. The left arm is way out to the right. It looks like it's kind of twisted, like maybe it's in the middle of another animation, and it's just kind of stuck in that state. But the swings still work. It's just impossible to. So you can see here, this is, I guess, the ready state, right? But if I do the swing, then all of a sudden the arms are in this crazy position that looks like maybe it's in like an aim state, like maybe this is what's supposed to happen if the user's holding right click. I'm not sure. This is why I think it might be the controller, the demo controller that I'm using. But I can go and change the item just to show that changing the rotations and the position don't really do anything. So this go sword inspector. And I think this worked best at like -1.6, and this worked best at like 0.2 or 0.1 or whatever. But you can see, like, okay, so I changed the position so that the arms are at least showing on here or whatever. You can see the shoulder on the left arm because it's so far forward. And I'm sure you can tweak the positions a little more for this model in particular. But then I go and I can mess with the rotations, and you can see that the position of the arms relative to one another just doesn't really change. It's at least not in such a way that it works within the demo, and I can't get this to work in such a way that it actually looks good, because this just doesn't work. So that's it. I'll stop the video and I'll upload it.